Well, this is interesting, isn't it? It's just been announced on andertons.co.uk. You can get it there for £269. Well, at least you can order it there for £269. Here it is. You're going to have to wait at least 3 months for it. So nobody's going to be getting one of these anytime soon. But I was sent this one absolutely ages ago. I can't remember when I actually got it. It's a pre-production unit, and someone at Behringer said, you know, what do you think of it? What does it sound like? And I played it, you know, I don't play with it against my grandmother, and essentially it sounds like my grandmother. I will do another video at some point and put them together just to show you what I mean. But in this video, I'm just going to show you the basic concepts of it. I'm not going to make some beautiful tracks with it or anything like that. You want to hear what it sounds like, listen to some demos of the grandmother, and I'm being quite serious there. It's very, very similar indeed. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a quick run through of it so you get an idea of what it is. I hope I'm not getting anyone in trouble, although the guy that did send it to me doesn't work there anymore, so I don't think I am getting anyone in trouble. You know, it's out the bag now. Andertons have got it up on their website, so yeah, just a quick little run through. Well, it is very Moog-like, even the name, the Model 15. 2 oscillators, 1 LFO. We've got a mixer with 3 inputs, which includes noise. That's oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and noise or whatever. You've got your 3 different mixer inputs there. Got a high pass filter, an attenuator, a modulation knob, because obviously you haven't actually got modulation from your keyboard if you've got no keyboard. Then we've got a standard ADSR envelope, and we can choose between the envelope, just the release, so like a gate with the release, or just fully on for the amplifier. And then we've got this little reverb unit in here as well. Does sound quite springy, doesn't it? I don't think it's a real spring. It's not. So yeah, very similar to the grandmother, isn't it? Over on the left here, we've got an ARP and a basic sequencer, and we've got a little glide knob as well. And it does sound very Moogy, doesn't it? And without going through everything in too much detail here, looking at the filter, as I say, it does sound very Moogy. Let's take the glide off for now. Increase resonance, and you drop the volume. Got a nice sound to it. Let's have a listen to it with just a single oscillator. Take the envelope off. Got tracking. Yeah, great. So let's go back to a open filter. 2 oscillators. Let's listen to oscillator 1 on its own quickly. We've got a triangle, sawtooth, square, and a pulse. And you can hear there we've got a bit of PWM happening. That's because these two knobs on the LFO are pre-patched into pitch mod and pulse width modulation. This isn't the pulse width of the LFO, it's the pulse width modulation. It's yellow, and that's yellow, and that's yellow. This is the filter modulation amount, and that's red. So a bit of color coordination happening there. And you get that on the square or the pulse. And this LFO goes well into audio rates. If we put it on, let's say, the filter, and we put that onto a sawtooth. We're not getting masses of modulation via the filter mod knob. It's keeping it nice and controlled. Let's make it a little bit more out of control. So let's use this attenuator here to increase the amount of CV going to the filter. So we'll take the LFO out, put it into the attenuator in, take the attenuator out and put that into the cutoff. So we're getting loads more. Really, I'm just showing that this is what the patch pay does. So you can use it for all sorts of modulation, as you can on things like the Grandmother, well, any other semi-modular synth. Oh, nice little vowely sounds. So while we're doing a bit of FM, let's try some FM on the oscillators. It's got oscillator 2 FM in. And if we do the same sort of thing, we'll bring that from the attenuator out, and we'll have the LFO going back into the attenuator again. Listen to oscillator 2. Let's try that using oscillator 1 instead of the LFO. Just looking with some of the sort of tones I quite like. Turn that into a square. Yeah, like that. Just turn that down. Maybe a little dig more into these oscillators as well. The tuning for both oscillators, so like the synth's tuning is via this fine tune here. Let's turn oscillator 1 up, oscillator 2, and then oscillator 2's got its own tuning knob there. So it doesn't go up that much, it goes up, what's that, 7 semitones? It's a pre-production model, don't forget, so maybe the production models go further. We've also got sync. So let's try and modulate oscillator 2 with the envelope. So envelope out into the attenuator in, attenuator out into the CV of oscillator 2. There we go. Yeah, so we got sync as well. Oscillator 2 though has also got these sub oscillators. Basically it's the same shapes but an octave lower. So let's take sync off. Let's take that off. It's like some sort of dub reggae party, that, innit? So just an octave lower. But we do have an output for that sub oscillator there. If we put a sub oscillator into mix 3, Just listen to mix 3. Will that work? So we're getting something. It's not changing according to what's on oscillator 2. The waveform's not changing. Okay, so that's this out here is just, it sounds like, is that a triangle or a square? It's a square. This out here is a square sub. It's quite cool. Let's put the filter out into the high pass in and the high pass out into mix 3. Let's stick it into the VCA actually. So now we've got a band pass. And you heard at the start, while I was doing that little arpeggio, the envelope is pretty snappy. Let's take all this out. Let's put something on again. On hold. Yeah, so there it is, the Moog Model 15. To all intents and purposes, it's a smaller and cheaper version of the Grandmother. And like I said at the intro, I have put them together myself, just playing around and having a listen and seeing what they sound like. And yeah, it's very similar indeed. It comes in the same sort of format as all the other Behringer bits and bobs. So no surprises on any front, really. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please do think about subscribing, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon. This channel is supported by my affiliate links, my YouTube ads, and my wonderful patrons, who for less than the price of a lukewarm, dodgy macchiato latte or something per month, get access to patches and samples and other extra little bits and bobs. So yeah, ditch the dodgy coffee and get some sonic refreshment instead. Lovely, cheesy life for you. And of course, do take a look at my starskycar.com website as well. Again, there's patches, there's samples, there's things to buy, and there's free stuff as well. It's nice when you do buy stuff, it shows support for the channel, and it's all really massively appreciated. Anyway, thanks for staying to the very, very end, and I will see you next time.